Part 90. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 891. After hearing Fuxi only say half of what he said, Dong Huangtai and Haoshan looked at Fuxi, but neither of them spoke. They knew Fuxi's thoughts in their hearts. In fact, what they thought in their hearts now was the same as Fuxi's. They also felt that because the Hope Expeditionary Army exterminated the universe ghosts, it violated the taboo, which made the founder take action and destroy the Hope Expeditionary Army. However, Dong Huangtai was not too worried about this matter. What he was thinking now was whether the founder would vent his anger on the human race who originally stayed in the primitive star after destroying the Hope Expeditionary Army. As long as they were not implicated, it would not be a big deal for Dong Huangtai. After all, the Hope Expeditionary Army did not get along so well with them, and Dong Huangtai also knew that it was basically impossible for him to control this army. His identity as a great prophet was only useful on the primitive star. For these human races who came back from the outside world, this great prophet was not even as effective as a small leader in the Hope Expeditionary Army. Moreover, this incident seemed to be an opportunity for Dong Huangtai. Originally, because they challenged the cosmic ghost, Dong Huangtai's trip to the Endless Tower could not be carried out temporarily. But now, the Hope Expeditionary Force destroyed all the cosmic ghosts, and he was also killed by the founder. In this way, there is basically no one in the human race who can stop him. Even Fuxi and Haoshan can only act secretly and cannot stop him openly. And after this incident, other races on the primitive star will probably start to be cautious about the human race. They don't know that the Hope Expeditionary Force is not completely the same as them. Only the human race knows this. In other races, the human race is the human race. They dare to take the risk of exterminating the cosmic ghosts. Such a race is enough to scare other races. Therefore, Dong Huangtai's mood can be said to be quite happy now. Anyway, from the attitude of Wang Feng and others, Dong Huangtai saw that these people would not help him in his trip to the Endless Tower. In this case, they perished together with the cosmic ghost, which not only eliminated their stumbling blocks among the human race, but also shocked other intelligent races, especially Fuxi, the three emperors of the human race in the past, who is still very powerful among the human race now. And this time, the army he brought back from outside was completely destroyed. For Fuxi, it was definitely a blow, especially in the previous war. No matter who it was, it could be seen that Wang Feng and his expeditionary force of hope had sufficient energy. Since it was so sufficient, why couldn't they leave some for their fellow races? If this matter was handled well, it would definitely be a heavy blow to Fuxi. He would have no ability to stop his trip to the Endless Tower. The reason why Dong Huangtai couldn't forget the Endless Tower was because there was a record about the Endless Tower in his inherited memory. It seemed to be a prophecy, or, it could also be said to be a fragment of the future. Although it was vague, Dong Huangtai was sure that this fragment was related to climbing the Endless Tower and was also related to their human race. When Wang Feng and his friends just arrived at the original star, Dong Huangtai once doubted whether the fragment in his memory was not himself, but these people. For this reason, he was really upset for a while, which was why he did not strongly insist on the trip to the Endless Tower, because he was afraid that he would be a wedding dress for others. And now, Dong Huangtai began to firmly believe that the fragment about the future in his memory should be a foreshadowing of himself, because Wang Feng and his friends are now in danger. Although Dong Huangtai had no foreboding of what happened to Wang Feng and the others, which was inconsistent with his identity as a great prophet, Dong Huangtai directly attributed this phenomenon to the fact that the founder had taken action. It was not surprising that he, as a great prophet of the human race, had no foreboding of things that the founder had taken action. However, what Dong Huangtai could not have imagined was that the reason why he had no foreboding was not because of the founder, but because of Wang Feng. This is. When the small fighter plane finally arrived at the base of the cosmic ghost, Fuchsie stared at the former base of the cosmic ghost in a daze, and could not even speak a complete sentence. Due to the scarcity of resources, the bases of various tribes on the original star are not large in area. Even the base of the cosmic ghost is equivalent to the scope of a very small city. At their current height, they can completely expand the entire base of the cosmic ghost into their sight. However, now they can't find any traces of the cosmic ghost base ever existing. What appeared in front of them was a hemispherical pit. The location of the pit was exactly where the base of the cosmic ghost used to be. However, now, they could not feel any breath of life here. Whether it was the former headquarters of the cosmic ghost, or the Yanhuang or small fighter planes of the Hope Expeditionary Force, they all disappeared without a trace. Even the portal that was originally built in the cosmic ghost base had completely disappeared at this time. It was the disappearance of this portal that shocked Fuchsie and the others, because they all knew that the material of the portal was quite hard, and had not been found among all the intelligent races on the original star. A way to destroy that portal. Even if they cut with the sharpest metal, they cannot leave any traces on the portal. Therefore, the portal cannot be destroyed. It is already a common sense rule on the original star, even more than the existence of the founder. And it is even more accepted by them. After all, although they think there is a founder, no one has seen it, but portals are found in every race. It's said that the portal has been destroyed. Haoshen's eyes widened, looking at the deep pit below, and murmured. What on earth, what happened? Did the founder really take action? The founder really exists. Dong Huangtai was also shocked and said. Yes. That must be the case. Therefore, I didn't get any warning at all about their whereabouts, and apart from the founder, there can't be any creature that can destroy the portal. Because the Hope Expeditionary Force, that is, Wang Feng and the others, wiped out the cosmic ghosts, therefore, the portal they left on the original star was also taken back or destroyed by the founder, because the founder believed that the cosmic ghosts can be removed from the original star. Did you see it? This deep pit was not formed by a violent explosion, because the explosion could not have kept the semicircle so complete, and look around. Dong Huangtai continued to point around and said. All the small fighters of the Hope Expeditionary Force have also disappeared. I clearly saw on the screen that many of them had fled, but now, it is obvious that they have not been able to escape this bad luck. Because they killed the entire race of cosmic ghosts, the founder punished them. The Hope Expeditionary Force, together with the cosmic ghosts, all disappeared. Listening to Dong Huangtai's words, neither Fuxi nor Haoshen refuted, because in fact, even in their eyes, Dong Huangtai's analysis should be almost the same as the actual situation. This unknown power definitely does not belong to any race on the original star, so it can only belong to the mysterious founder who has never shown up. At this time, reconnaissance planes, or reconnaissance troops from other races also arrived here one after another, including some races that had not cared about this place before. Because many of the races on the original star have a slight connection. Even if the relationship is not very good, there will sometimes be exchanges of resources. Therefore, some messages are not transmitted very quickly. Slow. In particular, it is said that the founder took action in this incident. This kind of news will undoubtedly bring a big earthquake to the original star. Although many races believe in the existence of the founder, everyone knows that once this legendary existence really takes action, no race will care. Soon, the original base of Cosmic Ghost began to become lively. Although resources were scarce, it was obvious that almost all intelligent races on the original star were no longer stingy with these resources. Regardless of the distance, fighter planes were dispatched directly to come here as quickly as possible to survey the terrain and speculate on what happened before. There are even several races that do not hesitate to risk entering that deep pit, hoping to deduce the strength of the founder from the remaining energy fluctuations inside. However, soon, all races were disappointed, because they had no idea what force caused the emergence of this deep pit. This semicircular pit is very large, just enough to cover the original cosmic ghost base. Especially this pit is quite smooth, and it looks like someone is holding a huge round spoon. It was like directly hollowing out the base of cosmic ghost from the original star. Fuxi, Dong Huangtai, and Haoshan also stepped off the fighter plane and came to the edge of the pit. After carefully inspecting it for a while, Dong Huangtai looked at Fuxi. "How do you think this deep pit was formed?" Fuxi raised his head and exhaled softly. Annihilation. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 892. After hearing Fuxi's words, Haoshan's face changed, but after looking down at the deep pit, he did not speak, and Dong Huangtai nodded lightly. "That's right. Annihilation." Then, Dong Huangtai pointed to the deep pit and said, "Although I didn't see it with my own eyes at that time, I can fully imagine the situation at that time. A huge circular energy shield directly covered this space, and then, all the matter inside, whether it was people or cosmic ghosts, even their headquarters and the portal, were all annihilated by this power. This power is terrible, at least we have no ability to do this. This ability to destroy all matter may only be possessed by the mysterious founder. Only the founder can have it." Fuxi looked at the deep pit and murmured, "Maybe, not necessarily." Fuxi's voice was very low, but Dong Huangtai still heard it clearly. He was stunned and suddenly thought of someone. Wang Feng and Duan Lei, they don't have the ability to completely destroy matter, but there is indeed such a person in the Hope Expeditionary Force who has this ability. Although he is impossible to cause such a large-scale destruction, the attributes in his body are definitely not much different from this energy. This person is of course Qiu Jian. So, after standing silently for a while, Dong Huangtai suddenly said, "You said, are those people in the Hope Expeditionary Force still alive?" "I don't know." Fuxi shook his head and said, "I only know that they should not die so easily. As for now, whether they are dead or somewhere else, I can't think of it. All I can do is wait." Haoshan looked at Fuxi and Dong Huangtai, listening to what they said, a little confused. He was not very familiar with the Hope Expeditionary Force, and Qiu Jian, this guy, has never been so high profile. Therefore, Haoshan did not know the existence of Qiu Jian, even though Qiu Jian killed many cosmic ghosts in this war, but that was only in the early stage of the war. After the small fighters appeared, Qiu Jian basically stopped attacking because the ability of his hair had not awakened, so he could not drive the small fighters of the human race. The same was true for Xiao Wu and number 7. Therefore, after the Yanhuang appeared, when countless small fighters were driven by the soldiers of the Hope Expeditionary Force to rush to the base of the Cosmic Ghost, they all returned to the control hall of the Yanhuang and became spectators. This kind of air battle was not something they could participate in. In front of the small fighters, Qiu Jian and his abilities were greatly reduced. Although they could kill several cosmic ghost fighters if they tried their best, this kind of thing that other people could easily accomplish with fighters was obviously much more difficult in front of them. Qiu Jian and his men didn't care. Their fighting style was originally close combat. Once the war came from the ground to the air, they didn't mind taking a break. When Wang Feng directly launched more than a dozen secondary guns to attack after the shield of the Cosmic Ghost headquarters was broken, Qiu Jian and his men were still indifferent. After all, they came from the outside to the primitive star, so the founder didn't mean much to them at all. Maybe the races on the primitive star would be afraid of the founder, but they were not included. For those who have come all the way from the end of the world, their fate has always been in their own hands. As for the controller or the founder, as long as they don't provoke them, they will be indifferent, but if they provoke them, no matter whether they can beat them or not, I will fight. You can be beaten to death, but you must not be scared to death. In fact, the guys who can follow Wang Feng all the way here are all bold and reckless, because those who are timid and afraid of things are not qualified to join the Hope expedition. They have either been eliminated long ago, or stayed in Atlantis or the human race's mother planet. Anyway, it is impossible for them to follow here. When those energy beams covered the headquarters of the cosmic ghost and felt the strong energy fluctuations, all the people drove their fighter planes and tried to escape from the base of the cosmic ghost, including the Yanhuang driven by Wang Feng. However, small fighter planes may still be able to start in a short time and escape from the base of the cosmic ghost, but the huge space battleship Yanhuang seems a bit reluctant. The original design of the space battleship was not to dominate on the planet, so it was definitely not as flexible as a small fighter plane, especially now that they were still in the original star. The influence of the planet's gravity made the start-up speed of the Yanhuang even slower. Feeling that the energy had fully erupted, Wang Feng gritted his teeth and directly transferred his stored life energy to the energy shield of the Yanhuang, hoping to use it to enhance the defense capability of the Yanhuang. However, at this moment, an extremely strong white light instantly enveloped the base of the cosmic ghost, and at the same time, surrounded the giant space battleship Yanhuang. Enveloped by this white light, even Wang Feng, who had the sky eye, could not see anything clearly. Then, everyone in Yanhuang felt an energy bursting around them, and it was so powerful that they unable to resist at all. His vision went dark and he lost consciousness. And those small fighter planes that fled in all directions also did not get rid of this mysterious white light. Although this white ball of light only shrouded the sky above the cosmic ghost base, it spread many small white beams outward, making the originally very regular the white light ball suddenly became like a hedgehog. Each of these extended light thorns was directed towards a small fighter plane. All small fighters that were touched by the light thorns condensed by white light disappeared completely in an instant, leaving no traces. As for the reconnaissance planes and even reconnaissance teams sent by other races to monitor the battlefield, there were no exceptions. All of them were taken care of by at least one beam of light and disappeared without a trace. After those light thorns chased their targets and made them disappear, they quickly shortened and finally disappeared into the white light ball. When all the light thorns were retracted, the white light ball seemed to have completed itself. The mission disappeared in an instant, leaving only a hemispherical deep pit in the scene. Fuxi was right. What the white light ball brought was annihilation. In the space enveloped by it, no matter what material it was, even the surface of the original star disappeared mysteriously. There was no material left in this area, including life forms, and even the supposedly indestructible portal disappeared. However, this white light came suddenly and disappeared very quickly. The process from its appearance to its complete disappearance only lasted less than 3 seconds. And within these 3 seconds, the huge Yanhuang, the base of the cosmic ghost, and nearly 100,000 small fighters, as if they had never appeared here before, completely disappeared along with the white light. My head hurts. I don't know how long it took, but a moan woke up Wang Feng. He opened his eyes and found that he should be lying on the ground, but in front of him was a bloody sky. Sitting up suddenly, Wang Feng looked to his side and discovered that the person who had groaned just now was actually one of the members of the Mars trio, Li Fei. Li Fei was holding his head in his hands with a grimace on his face, as if he was in great pain. Li Fei. How is it? Wang Feng immediately got up from the ground and came to Li Fei's side. In the meantime, he looked around him and found that they seemed to be on the top of a mountain, and nearby, there were many people lying in various directions, all hoping soldiers of the expeditionary force. No. It's okay. Li Fei touched a big bump on his head, then looked around. I suspect, we were thrown here directly, and I was so unlucky that I hit the ground head first, which made me a little dizzy. After hearing Li Fei's words, Wang Feng breathed a sigh of relief and said angrily. If I hadn't bumped into you, you might not have woken up so early. Wang Feng had already sensed from the life fluctuations of the people lying around him that these people were in a coma and their lives were not in danger, so he did not wake them up one by one. He looked up at the familiar sky and couldn't help but feel a little strange. Could it be that they had returned to the ancient secret realm again? Also, where is the Yanhuang number? And what about those small fighters? Wang Feng felt that things seemed a bit unbelievable. Wang Feng knew many of the soldiers on the ground, and they were all flying small fighter planes at the time. And he was also in the Yanhuanghao at the beginning? Could it be that that white light could only destroy inanimate matter, but would not harm living beings like them? That's not right, right? They are all wearing their clothes, what is going on? Wang Feng tried to fly up into the sky for a while, and found that this seemed to be unrestricted, so he quickly searched among the people around him. Fortunately, after searching for a while, the core members such as Duan Lei, Lu Wanting, Lu Feng, Qiu Jian, etc. were all discovered by Wang Feng. Moreover, he roughly calculated the number and found that it seemed that the Hope Expeditionary Force did not have them this time. What losses have been suffered? Kindness. Wang Feng finally breathed a sigh of relief, but immediately he was stunned again. An unfamiliar and somewhat panicked face appeared in front of him. Who are you? Wang Feng quickly flew to the stranger, stared at him closely, and asked in a cold tone. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 893. Wang Feng was sure that he had never seen this person before, at least he was definitely not someone from the Hope Expeditionary Force, but judging from his appearance, he was clearly a human race, which was unmistakable. On the original star, although there are some races that are similar to the human race, such as the Kali race, there are some differences in appearance, which can be seen at least at a glance. Moreover, when Wang Feng was fighting the cosmic ghost before, he had noticed that there were some reconnaissance planes from other races around him. The human race even had a reconnaissance team watching their war. Wang Feng didn't care about these. It might not be a good thing to let the races of the original star and Dong Huangtai see the strength of his Hope Expeditionary Force. It could at least serve as a deterrent to those races. But the person who appeared now was definitely not from the human race's previous reconnaissance team. Wang Feng had paid special attention to that reconnaissance team before, and there was no such person in it at all. Moreover, although this person looked panicked, Wang Feng felt from the energy fluctuations on his body that the panic displayed by this person was all fake. Seeing Wang Feng coming in front of him, the man seemed a little at a loss and stammered. I am a human scout, and I was ordered to. Okay. Before the man could finish speaking, Wang Feng interrupted him directly. I noticed that the investigation team didn't have you in it. And, to be honest, your acting skills are not that good. Let's be honest, our time is limited. The man was stunned for a moment, then looked at Wang Feng seriously, and found that his face did not look like he was deceiving him, so the panic on his face was wiped away, replaced by a look of frustration. Oh. Really, no wonder those guys keep saying that I am not suitable for acting. Then the man scratched his hair and introduced himself sheepishly. Hello. Master of Xianyuan Sword, I am Dong Huangtai. What? Wang Feng was shocked when he heard this man's self-introduction. Dong Huangtai? Why is there another Dong Huangtai? Counting this guy, it should be said that Wang Feng has met 3 Dong Huangtai. Oh. Wrong. The first one doesn't count as seen. Well. I know, you may be a little confused now, because I bet you have seen more than one Dong Huangtai, right? The man who claimed to be Dong Huangtai couldn't help but laugh when he saw Wang Feng's expression. Don't worry. I can guarantee that even I will not be the last Dong Huangtai you have ever seen. And we don't have the same name. Yes, although there may be some differences in appearance, I am the one you think Dong Huang Tai. Are you, also a conscious clone? Wang Feng looked at Dong Huang Tai and asked cautiously. Regarding Dong Huang Tai, to be honest, after experiencing the period of the original star, Wang Feng is not very optimistic about this guy. Of course not. Dong Huang Tai. My existence is a little troublesome to talk about, and it's not easy to explain. The main reason is that it's not easy for you to understand. Well, you can think of me as the Eastern Emperor Tai of another dimensional universe. But Wang Feng now has countless questions to ask, but he doesn't know where to start. The Dong Huang Tai in front of him looks very young, but if you look carefully, his face does have the shadow of the Dong Huang Tai on the original star. This strange situation makes Wang Feng a little confused. He didn't know what the hell he was in. Okay. I know you have a lot to say, but the land of God's punishment is not a good place for chatting. I think you should gather your team first and then solve the questions in your mind. We are on our way soon. Seeing Wang Feng's appearance, Dong Huang Tai waved his hand and said. Besides, things on your side are quite complicated now. I can't explain it clearly for a while. You should hurry up. As you just said, our time is limited, don't waste it. Wang Feng's expression was stagnant, and then he turned to look at the Hope Expeditionary Force, which had woken up one after another. He looked at Dong Huang Tai again, and found that this guy was standing there with a calm face, no longer paying attention to him, so he had to turn around and walk towards the Hope Expeditionary Force. Although the location where they are now is a mountain, it is a barren mountain. It seems that there are some minerals in the mountain. The whole mountain is full of a rust color. Against the blood-colored sky, the scenery does not look that great. Beautiful. Wang Feng quickly found Duanlei and others. The range of this mountain is not very large, and there are no obstacles to cover it. Especially, it seems that all the people in the Hope Expeditionary Force have been thrown here. It's a mountain, so it wasn't very difficult to gather. When the Hope Expeditionary Force was gathering, the Dong Huang Tai stood on the top of the mountain, with his hands behind his back and his head raised to the sky, which sounded a bit more like a disappointed expert. A burst of slightly chaotic footsteps sounded, and then disappeared behind him. Wang Feng's voice came from behind Dong Huang Tai. Hey, can we talk now? Dong Huang Tai turned around. Wang Feng had not said who this activation was before, and due to the large age difference, this Dong Huang Tai who looked to be only about 20 years old looked different from the Dong Huang Tai on the original star. There seemed to be basically nothing in common with each other, so Duanlei and others did not expect that the guy in front of them was actually Dong Huang Tai. Okay. Now, it's not long before dark, and I guess you won't be able to move today, so, it's good to be here, at least it's safer. Dong Huang Tai looked up at the blood-red sky again and murmured. It's dark? Isn't this an ancient secret realm? Duanlei was surprised and asked quickly. Originally, Duanlei thought they were thrown into the ancient secret realm, so he was not too anxious. Now that it was dark, Duanlei immediately understood that things were not as he imagined. Simple. Ancient secret realm. Humph. What a wonderful idea you have. This is the land of divine punishment. Dong Huang Tai rolled his eyes at Duanlei with disdain, but this action made Wang Feng feel funny in his heart. It seems that when Dong Huang Tai was young, he was not so annoying, at least he was more humane, unlike the one on the original star who always had a straight face and a majestic look. But now Dong Huang Tai's face is still a bit immature, and he probably won't be able to look majestic even if he wants to. Place of divine punishment? What is it used for? Tang Haoshan felt something was wrong. Hearing the name, he knew that this was definitely not a good place. You can call it a prison, you can call it a place of exile. In short, This is a place where criminals come. Of course, now you are a sinner just like me. Looking at everyone, Dong Huangtai said calmly, as if he didn't feel any shame because he was a sinner. Everyone looked at each other. Prison. Place of exile. What is this all about? How come they are here? Huh? That's right. Seeing that everyone was silent, Dong Huangtai suddenly jumped up. Why did you come so late? Did you make me stay here for at least another year? Hearing Dong Huangtai's words, Du Enlai and others were even more confused. Why did they come so late? Brother, we didn't even think about coming, okay. No one knows how we ended up here all of a sudden. You knew we were coming here. Du Enlai looked at Dong Huangtai in confusion and asked. Nonsense. I am the great prophet of the human race, how could I not even know this? Dong Huangtai said proudly. Isn't the great prophet of the human race Dong Huangtai? How did he become such a little guy? Mars. He is more shameless than you. After hearing Dong Huangtai's words, Li Fei was the first to jump out and crack down on counterfeiters. I didn't say anything the whole time, okay. Why did you put the fire on me? Mars was furious. If you want to say shameless, Hao Shui is the most shameless guy. He is so ugly, and he dares to call him so handsome. Huh? If you say that. Li Fei quickly turned to look at Hao Shui. Don't look at me so much. The black line on Hao Shui's head. Okay. Wang Feng shouted loudly. If these three guys were not stopped, there was no telling how long they would cause trouble. He is Dong Huangtai. After seeing the Martian trio shut up, Wang Feng looked at Dong Huangtai, and then said, when he said that, Wang Feng couldn't help but smile on his face, because he felt that this matter was really quite serious. Weird. If anyone appears here, he means that he is from Atlantis. I am afraid that Wang Feng and the others will not think it is as weird as now, but this kind of thing happened right in front of them. Especially, now that Wang Feng looks at Dong Huangtai, he looks more and more like him. It seems that the great human race is not just bored and comes to amuse them. It's a pity that Fuxi is not here, otherwise, Fuxi should be able to confirm this person's identity. After hearing Wang Feng's words, Du Enlai and the others stayed there for 2 or 3 minutes before reacting. However, when they saw Wang Feng's serious face and didn't look like he was joking, they couldn't help but look at Dong Dong again. Emperor Tai. If you are Dong Huangtai, then who is that one on the original star? Du Enlai couldn't help but ask. Of course it's me. But this matter is too complicated to talk about, so I'd better let Dong Huangtai at the back explain it to you. I don't have that much time. Dong Huangtai said impatiently. More. Du Enlai turned to look at Wang Feng. This guy, who had always been resourceful, felt that for the first time in his life, his brain was a little lacking. He was talking about the other Dong Huangtai we will meet later. Wang Feng shrugged his shoulders and said. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzu. Chapter 894. Wang Feng remembered that when Dong Huangtai saw him before, he did say that he was not the last Dong Huangtai that he and others could see. However, compared with Du Enlai, Wang Feng was not so entangled. This was not because Wang Feng wanted to understand how these Dong Huangtai appeared one by one, but because Wang Feng and Du Enlai had different personalities. People like Du Enlai would definitely find a way to figure out things that they couldn't figure out, otherwise it is very likely that this question would always haunt him. As for Wang Feng, I don't care how many Dong Huangtai you have, or how you exist. In short, if you want to help me, then we will move forward together. If you want to hinder me, sorry, get out of here as soon as possible. Therefore, Wang Feng is not entangled with why there are so many Dong Huangtai now. In his opinion, there are too many things in this world that they cannot understand. Let's not talk about anything else. Just look at the portal and the space overlap. Can it be explained clearly by science? Therefore, when Wang Feng looked at Dong Huangtai again, he did not continue to dwell on the previous question, but asked a new question. So, how did you get here? Haha. It's almost the same as you. But, I have been here for tens of thousands of years. I am much older than you. Hearing Wang Feng's words, Dong Huangtai laughed. As for you, I remember that I was sent here because of the race that slaughtered the cosmic ghosts, and as for why I am here, first, it's because I leaked the secrets. I made those damn guys unhappy, so I was thrown here. Can this place communicate with the outside world? Duan Lei keenly discovered a problem. Of course not. This is the place of divine punishment. Only those damn guys know where this is. Others can't find it. So, if you want to call home to report your safety, you can save it. Dong Huangtai said leisurely. I didn't expect that this guy was locked up here for tens of thousands of years and still maintained a sense of humor. No. Wait, tens of thousands of years? Wang Feng suddenly thought of an obvious mistake. Since this Dong Huangtai has been imprisoned here for tens of thousands of years, why does he look so young? It seems that he should be the same image as the Dong Huangtai of the original star, right? Because according to the time, they should be people of the same era. No. They are the same person. You said, you have been imprisoned here for tens of thousands of years? Then, Wang Feng looked at Dong Huangtai and asked. Haha. You want to ask me why I look so young, right? Dong Huangtai laughed again. Unlike the Dong Huangtai of the original star, this Dong Huangtai seemed to be much more cheerful. At least, he liked to laugh. Well, when your strength breaks through level 10 and reaches level 11, you will know. Hearing this, everyone's heart moved. Is there really another realm above level 10? Among the people in the current Hope Expedition Army, Qiu Jian, who devoured the life essence of the big beetle alone in the Endless Tower, has the highest level, but he still has not broken through level 10 and reached level 11. Moreover, Wang Feng also feels that after reaching level 10, if he wants to break through that bottleneck, it seems that he needs an opportunity, and it cannot be done by accumulating life energy. If he can rely on the accumulation of life energy, then Wang Feng might have reached the realm of level 11 long ago. At this time, Duan Lei was concerned about another thing. He looked at Dong Huangtai and asked. Why are you here? There must be other reasons, right? Ha ha ha. Sure enough, there are smart people. Dong Huangtai still laughed. That's right. In fact, although I leaked the secret, I did it on purpose. The purpose is here the place of divine punishment. Although this is a prison, it is one of the biggest opportunities for our human race to rise. Hey! Little guy! Speaking of this, Dong Huangtai turned his head and looked at Wang Feng and said. Is there anything to eat? I have been here for tens of thousands of years, and those monsters have eaten me to the point of vomiting. I can hardly remember what normal human food tastes like. Hearing Dong Huangtai's words, Wang Feng remembered his Xianyuan space and quickly felt it with his consciousness. Fortunately, the Xianyuan space was still there, and there were actually several small fighters in it, but Yanhuang was nowhere to be seen. Fortunately, although they hoped that most of the food prepared by the expeditionary army, especially vegetables, would be grown in the Yanhuang, there were some stocks in the Xianyuan space. This was also a habit that Wang Feng developed in the end times, and it just came in handy now. With a wave of his hand, he took out a large number of tents, firewood and other fire starters from the Xianyuan space, and then threw out a large number of insects hunted in the Endless Tower, hoping that the soldiers of the expeditionary army would come directly to pick up the tents and start building the camp without Wang Feng and others asking, and some people would directly start a fire and prepare to cook. After giving Dong Huangtai a few bags of chocolate and biscuits and other foods, Wang Feng also took out 2 bottles of white wine. When Dong Huangtai saw the wine, his eyes lit up, his figure flashed, and he directly snatched it, opened it casually, and raised his head to drink it. Wang Feng was startled by Dong Huangtai's actions. He didn't expect that Dong Huangtai's speed could not even match his own. However, thinking about what Dong Huangtai said just now, it was obvious that he had already reached the 11th level realm, so it is acceptable. At least, it seems that Dong Huangtai has no hostility towards them at present, and, as expected, next, they will come into contact with the ancient secrets of the human race. Ah! Good wine. Damn it, I'm trapped here, I haven't tasted wine for a long time. Boy, bring out a few more bottles later. Dong Huangtai dried up a bottle of wine in one breath, then smacked his lips and said to Wang Feng. Okay. There's more to this. Let's chat while drinking. Let's talk about why you are here first. Wang Feng now wanted to know why Dong Huangtai was here, so he couldn't help but urge. Oh. That was a humming long time ago. Dong Huangtai raised his head, looked up at the bloody sky that had begun to dim, and said with some emotion. The main reason why I come here is because of you. Turning his head to look at Wang Feng and others, Dong Huangtai put away his smile for the first time and said solemnly. Of course, at that time, I didn't know who would come here, because, you were not born yet, and even your planet had not yet been visited by humans. Therefore, I just knew that there would be a group of human beings come to this place of divine punishment. In the land of God's punishment, no one knows where this space is. We just know that this is a prison. However, this prison is the only place that can enable us to break through the 10th level and reach the 11th level, that is, a quasi-god level place. At that time, our human race was considered a powerful race in the original star. Basically, no other race dared to mess with us because of our advanced technology. However, one day, I suddenly got a revelation, or, it can be said that it was a quite real dream. In that dream, I saw the decline of the human race on the original star, saw the human race leaving their homeland, saw the mother planet being besieged, and saw the fall of Xianyuan and Zhenan. Even now, we are sitting in the land of God's punishment drinking. I saw it before, and it was extremely real. Dong Huangtai took another big sip of wine, and then said with a blurred look. That dream was very long for me. To be honest, talking about it now, I feel like I am still immersed in that dream because it was so real. It was like I had lived directly in the dream for a few years. The same thing for thousands of years. However, when I woke up from that dream, I discovered that it turned out that less than a minute had passed. At that time, our human race happened to be having a meeting, and it happened to be my turn to speak, and I entered a dream before, but they thought I was just meditating or seeing an omen. As the great prophet of the human race, I often see some omens, so they have long been used to it. However, this omen seems extremely real and extremely long. After getting this dream, I ended the meeting directly. Then, I found an opportunity to call Fuxi, Shenan, and Xianyuan together and told them about this dream. Because I know that the fewer people who know about this matter, the better. At that time, the human race was at its peak. Even if we publicized it among the human race, not many people would believe it. As for the 3 emperors of the human race, I can think of someone who can share this dream. You mean, Xianyuan and Zhenan already knew when they would fall? Wang Feng asked in shock. For a person, I am afraid that the most terrifying thing in the world is to accurately predict the date of his death, whether it is 5 days, 5 years, or 50 years from now. Because once your death date is determined, it means that your life can be calculated with numbers. It is quantitative. Every day in the future, you have to subtract 1 from that number. No matter how long it takes, it means that the countdown of your life has begun. For people who are not mentally tough to a certain extent, they may be tortured to the point of going crazy or even collapse. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 895. They don't know. Dong Huangtai's face has lost its smile. As a great prophet with the ability to foresee, of course I know that foreseeing one's own death is actually the most terrifying thing in the world. Therefore, I just told them that after leaving the original star, among the 3 emperors of their human race, some people will die, but this is the only way out for the human race. As I expected, the 3 emperors of the human race do not care about their own demise. What they care about is whether the human race can continue forever. Just like I am a great prophet, I am responsible for warning the human race of disasters, and the 3 emperors of the human race, as guardians, are responsible for protecting the human race forever. Dong Huangtai looked at Wang Feng, Du Enlai, and others with some emotion, and suddenly found expressions of admiration and yearning on their faces. After being stunned for a moment, he couldn't help but laugh. Oh! Forget it. If you know these ancient secrets, it won't be of much help to you now. I'll tell you what we should do now. Now, you already know that this is a prison, right? As the name suggests, it is a prison. Naturally, we cannot leave if we want to. But now that you are here, this place of divine punishment cannot trap us. But your first task is to break through the shackles in the body here, break through the 10th level limit, and wait until you reach the 11th level. I even have a hunch that some of you may eventually reach the 12th level. Level 12. It is the pinnacle of a living being, the legendary God level. Only by reaching level 12 can one truly break through the boundaries of this world, truly escape from reincarnation, and enter eternal life. Reincarnation. When Du Enlai heard this, an idea suddenly flashed in his mind. This is the place of reincarnation. Hearing Du Enlai's words, Wang Feng and others suddenly remembered the 8 prophecies Fuxi had said, and couldn't help but look at Dong Huangtai. If this is really the place of reincarnation, then, are they now? Have you reached the last sentence of those 8 prophecies? Holding the Emperor's blade. Destroy the eternal enemy. Out of the original star. Entering the world of reincarnation. This is the second half of the 8 prophecies. Literally speaking, the cosmic ghosts may be the eternal enemies. It can be said that they have been broken by them now. Moreover, they should no longer be within the scope of the original star. Guilty. Leave the original star and enter the world of reincarnation. Is this the world of reincarnation? Haha. This, don't ask me. Since entering the land of God's punishment, I have lost the ability of the great prophet and cannot predict the future. Therefore, the road ahead mainly depends on you. Dong Huangtai shook his head and said with a smile. Although I said before that there will be people among you who can reach level 12, but that is just my guess, not a prediction. Wang Feng and others looked at each other. As the great prophet of the human race, he would actually lose the ability to predict. However, seeing that Dong Huangtai didn't seem to want to talk about this matter, Wang Feng and the others had no choice but to hide this question in their hearts. Okay. Although I have lost the ability to predict now, strictly speaking, I am no longer a great prophet of the human race. However, after all, I have stayed in this land of divine punishment for tens of thousands of years, so I am still familiar with it. Starting from tomorrow, I will take you around here. Dong Huangtai ended the previous topic and began to introduce the land of divine punishment to them. Of course. This is not a tourist attraction, but a prison full of dangers. You must remember that there are not only all kinds of monsters here, but also creatures of other races. They are also imprisoned here because of their crimes. And the land of God's punishment has a characteristic, that is, whether it is a creature of an intelligent race or a monster, as long as it is a living body in the land of God's punishment, it will not age, that is to say, any creature will not age in the land of God's punishment. Anyone in the God's punishment land can gain unlimited life. Of course, the premise is that he has not been killed by other creatures and used as food, so here, you can only be killed and not die. In other words, all of us can get infinite life here. Martian couldn't help but ask in surprise, and other people's faces couldn't help but show joy. We can't blame them for being too excited. After all, eternal life is what mankind has always pursued. Now that they heard that they could get this as long as they were in the land of God's punishment, they couldn't help but be surprised. Seeing everyone's expressions, Dong Huangtai shook his head gently and said, "Infinite life is correct. As I said, as long as you are not killed, you will be able to survive here forever and have unlimited life. However, I advise everyone not to be so happy. Believe me, in the land of God's punishment, unlimited life is not a good thing for any creature." After hearing Dong Huangtai's words, Wang Feng and others looked at each other, and an unpleasant feeling arose in their hearts. They all understood that perhaps they would not have a good life in this place of divine punishment. However, this idea was quickly forgotten by them, because since the arrival of the Sky-Fire, they seemed to have never had a peaceful life for a few days, and they had long been used to it. So, everyone quickly dropped everything and started making barbecues and stewing meat soup. This seemingly desolate hill quickly became lively. Maybe it's because Dong Huangtai hasn't met anyone for a long time, so he seems to talk a lot, but this Dong Huangtai is much more cheerful than the previous consciousness clone, or the Dong Huangtai on the original star. But the speaking style is still the same as before. That is, basically what you want to know, he will not tell you happily. Therefore, after chatting with him for a while, many people began to give up trying to find out some information from him. The extravagant hope ran aside. Only the three guys from the Mars trio seemed to have some similarities with Dong Huangtai. Maybe it's because these three guys usually speak, and basically 9 out of 10 sentences are nonsense. Therefore, for Dong Huangtai's words the method is quite acceptable, and I even feel that I have met a confidant. He never said how we can leave this place of divine punishment. He only said that we should break through level 10 first. Duan Lei came to Wang Feng's side and said softly, then looked up at Dong Huangtai who was chatting with the Martian trio. "Oh. Just get used to it. People with this name always talk like this. Don't even think about knowing anything until the critical moment." Wang Feng didn't care. He had long been accustomed to this. He thought that the consciousness clone of Dong Huangtai had been in the Xianyuan space for a long time. Therefore, Wang Feng had no idea about this guy's character. It's quite understandable. Although Wang Feng still can't figure out how the Dong Huangtai who appeared in the land of divine punishment exists, at least now it seems that his appearance has certain benefits for Wang Feng and the others. Without him, I'm afraid Wang Feng and the others would still regard this ghost place as an ancient secret realm. But thinking of the ancient secret realm, Wang Feng suddenly remembered something, that is, the environment here seems to be similar to the ancient secret realm. So, will the three major anomalies that exist in the ancient secret realm appear here? Thinking of this, Wang Feng quickly ran to Dong Huangtai, threw him a bottle of wine and asked, "In this place of divine punishment, is there anything we need to pay attention to? For example, what kind of storm?" "Storm." Dong Huangtai took the wine, tilted his head and thought for a while. "Storms are just one of them, you have to remember. In the land of God's punishment, only within the scope of this kind of hill can it be considered safe. Other places are quite dangerous. Even in battle, you are the most vulnerable. It's better to stay on a hill like this. Storms, electromagnetic currents, thunder prisons, space cracks, any of these can instantly destroy the creatures caught in them. However, generally speaking, These things only appear at night, and the undead tribe will also be active at night, so, you just need to remember that you must find a hiding place before the sky gets dark. It's a hill like this. If you dare to spend the night in the plain, it is very likely that all of you here will die in this land of divine punishment overnight. Even just a space crack is enough to suck you all into the space turbulence, and then you will be strangled instantly. Into pieces. What are the undead? Wang Feng couldn't help but ask. The undead are those creatures who were exiled to the land of God's punishment. Due to lack of food, their body functions cannot be maintained. However, the living creatures in the land of God's punishment cannot die unless they are killed. Thus, a special kind of creature was formed. We call it the undead. In fact, before they became undead, they may have come from any race, but basically all intelligent races have similar appearances. It's just like the difference between the cosmic ghosts and us humans. Take away the skin and flesh, and our bones are actually the same. At most, there are only differences in size or height. The undead are actually just intelligent species who have lost their skin. However, because they have been locked up here for too long and they have also had some miserable experiences, especially their image, it can be said that they have changed. They can't help but have ghosts, so their psychology is basically dark. Especially when they see creatures like us, they will become their targets immediately because they can't accept it. Why do they have to be like that here, but we are completely different from them? Especially, you have to be careful. The hill I said before is very safe, but that doesn't mean you won't be attacked by them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 896. Have these undead people lost their minds? Are they still intelligent creatures? Duan Lei asked carefully. If all the undead tribe Donghuangte I mentioned are unconscious, then it would be better to say that they are at best similar to the zombies on Atlantis, and at most they are a little more advanced than them. Of course not. They are intelligent creatures just like us, and their memories are not missing at all, therefore, in the land of God's punishment, they are still considered intelligent creatures. On such a small mountain, they can come and go as you please. They are now considered the most powerful race in the land of God's punishment. We call them the undead, and they call themselves the forgotten ones. They are quite terrifying. Dong Huangte I looked at Duan Lei and sighed softly. Think about it. The lowest of them here are those who have been imprisoned for tens of thousands of years. They have no relatives or friends. All they have is hunger and loneliness. They watch their skin dry up, wither and turn into a skeleton. In their hearts, they have a very strong hatred for this world, including creatures of any race. Once they catch a new creature, no matter which race it is, as long as it is in good shape, they will regard it as an enemy. For example, if we fall into their hands, you will hope that you can die quickly, because they will use the most cruel methods to torture you endlessly, because they like fresh blood and like to keep themselves. Creatures with different shapes, cut off their flesh and blood bit by bit, making them look like themselves. This process will last for a long time, because it is not easy to find a creature with a complete appearance in the land of God's punishment, so they will save as much as possible to extend their entertainment time. By that time, you will definitely feel that unlimited life is simply the cruelest punishment in this world. I'll go. Mars looked at his arm, took a breath, and said with a look of horror. Looking at my skin drying up and weathering, if this happened to me, I would commit suicide immediately. What a beautiful thought. Dong Huangte I sneered. This is the place of divine punishment. I remember I said that you will not die unless you are killed. Do you understand if you are killed? Here, you cannot commit suicide. This is the punishment for sinners. punish. You can't die even if you want to. You can only live and endure all kinds of destructive environments and tortures. This is the price that sinners need to pay. But, didn't you just say that it's dangerous outside? If I don't spend the night within the confines of the hill, will I die there? Can't I use this method when I want to commit suicide? Tang Haoshan couldn't help but ask, because he saw what Dong Huangtai was talking about, so Duan Lei and others who had left just now gathered again, and what Dong Huangtai said just now was heard by them. Middle. Ha 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 ha. When Dong Huangtai heard Tang Haoshan's question, he suddenly looked up to the sky and laughed wildly. There was an indescribable sadness in his laughter. Here. Only those who don't want to die have a chance to die, but those who want to die will never die. Those space cracks or storms seem to have life. Only people like you can, only those with strong blood might encounter those undead people, who will never have the chance to die so happily. Even those monsters will not attack those creatures that have become undead. They can only choose to live miserably until they are killed, or until their sins are washed away. Looking at the somewhat crazy Dong Huangtai, everyone felt their backs go numb. The happiness of death, this was the first time they heard someone associate death with happiness. Even on the planet Atlantis in the apocalypse, after seeing so much darkness and blood in the world, for them, death can at most be called relief. The word happiness is absolutely incompatible with it. Above. But now, when I heard Dong Huangtai, he connected these two words together so naturally, and judging from his expression, he really thought so in his heart. So, how terrifying is this place of divine punishment? And what has Dong Huangtai experienced in these tens of thousands of years? Martian looked at Dong Huangtai and just opened his mouth to ask a question, but Duan Lei directly put his hand on his shoulder, shook his head gently at him, and stopped him. Duan Lei could see that even if he had not personally experienced what Dong Huangtai just said, at least he must have witnessed it with his own eyes. Moreover, it was very likely that he had seen people who suffered such torture and talked to him. There is some relationship. Therefore, when Dong Huangtai said this, he seemed so out of control, and even couldn't control his emotions. Looking at his current situation, try not to irritate him. Anyway, they are now in the land of divine punishment. Perhaps, what Dong Huangtai said is not far away from them. After Dong Huangtai looked at the sky and laughed for a while, his laughter finally stopped, but his posture never changed. He just kept looking up to the sky until night fell and darkness swallowed his figure. Wang Feng and the others did not bother Dong Huangtai anymore. They just put away the utensils used to make dinner. After hearing Dong Huangtai's tone just now, it seemed that this hill would not be affected by any space cracks, and the monsters here are attacking, but the undead tribe he mentioned may appear. Therefore, the Hope Expeditionary Force did not leave a bonfire, leaving the hill where they were stationed in darkness, and set up sentries around it. Since it was the first night in the land of God's punishment, Wang Feng didn't sleep either. Because at night in the land of God's punishment, there were no luminous objects in the sky, so it seemed quite dark. Although he had some night vision devices, Wang Feng was still worried, so I kept vigil in person. Lu Wanting did not disturb Wang Feng, but went directly to the female soldier's tent to deal with it casually for the night. Wang Feng's small fighter plane was still in the Xianyuan space and had not been taken out. They still don't know the rules of the land of God's punishment, especially when they woke up, nearly 100,000 fighter planes and the space battleship Yanhuang were missing. Therefore, the remaining small fighters had already, it can be regarded as Wang Feng's trump card. They can't show up easily. Fortunately, it was probably their first day entering the land of God's punishment, so they had an adaptation period. That night, they did not encounter any abnormal situations, and waited until dawn without any surprises. However, the land of God's punishment is indeed quite special. The light rises very quickly. From darkness to daylight, the whole process is actually completed in about 3 seconds. Because they were not used to it, Wang Feng and the others thought there was an accident. Wang Feng immediately turned around and looked at Dong Huangtai. At this time, Dong Huangtai had returned to normal and was sitting on the ground, holding a wine bottle in his hand. Bottle. Seeing that there was no unexpected expression on Dong Huangtai's face, Wang Feng felt relieved. He flew up a little and looked around carefully. He didn't find anything unusual, so he directly ordered everyone to bury the pot. Meal. Now Wang Feng is quite glad that he has the Xianyuan space. Not only does he hope that the expeditionary force will not need a heavy supply team, but also that they will still be able to have a large amount of supplies in case of an accident. Of course, this is also thanks to the damn apocalypse that made Wang Feng always fill the Xianyuan space with some necessary supplies. Therefore, in the short term, I hope that the expeditionary force will not have to worry about food and drinking water. Question. Where should we go? Wang Feng came to Dong Huangtai, put up a few pieces of wood, and built a small bonfire. Then he took out a piece of animal meat and put it on for barbecue while asking softly. Your army should have good combat capabilities, right? If not, we can wander around aimlessly and find some monsters to kill. Their flesh and blood contains the substances you need to break through to level 10. Dong Huangtai raised his head, looked at Wang Feng and said. If you have confidence in yourself, then, we can try and go to the base of the undead. Base? The undead still have a base. Wang Feng was surprised. Of course. Don't forget, they are also intelligent creatures, and they don't have much hostility towards each other. No matter which race they belonged to before, after becoming the undead tribe, they will regard themselves as undead. Dong Huangtai said lightly. No matter what kind of creature, it is easy to accept creatures that are in the same situation as themselves. Therefore, in the land of God's punishment, there are many bases of the undead. They even have a large main base. And that's our ultimate goal. There are many bases. Then the number of these forgotten people is also quite large. Duan Lei also came to them at this time. After hearing Dong Huangtai's words, he couldn't help but ask. The land of divine punishment should have existed since the birth of the primordial star, and the intelligent creatures here rarely die. How many undead would there be here in such a long time? Dong Huangtai suddenly smiled. You know, among all the races living on the original star, those who were considered guilty by the founder were exiled here. But, Haoshan and the others told me that although the races on the original star know that there is a founder, no race is sure of it. No one has ever seen them. Duan Lei was a little confused. The information about the founder that Dong Huangtai said seemed to be different from the rumors about the founder that they heard on the original star. At least, Dong Huangtai could definitely confirm the founder. The existence of Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 897. Just because you don't see them, doesn't mean they don't exist. Dong Huangtai. Did you enter the land of God's punishment on your own? I don't think you saw any of the creatures that sent you here, right? All the creatures that came to the land of God's punishment should have come to you like this. First he fell into a coma, and then he woke up and found that he was already here. Besides, in Primordial Star, the existence of founders is originally taboo, and almost no one dares to talk about it. How could they even think about confirming their existence? If they showed up on their own initiative, they might cause a sensation, but if they never show up, then the races on the original star can only treat them as a mystery. As for those here, it doesn't matter to talk about them. They are already criminals anyway, and after coming in, every criminal doesn't know how to get out. Just like you, if I don't show up, don't tell me how to get out, you won't even know where this place is. Most of those who became undead are just because they don't know anything and are wandering on their own. Only after being caught by the undead will they also become undead. What? The undead turn people into undead? Wang Feng was a little unbelievable. Of course, just like the procedure I just told you, the undead will not really kill people. They will only cut off all the flesh on your body, and they may even kill you in front of you. Eat all your flesh, but you won't die. Dong Huangtai smiled sadly. When you only have a skeleton left, they will leave you outside. In a few days, when your skeleton covered with skin and flesh dries up, you will become an undead similar to them. The most terrifying thing is this kind of undead. Because they themselves have been cruelly abused, most of their minds are not very sound. Some even have a mental breakdown and become crazy. But they are quite bloodthirsty. Even those who still retain their sanity will inflict whatever they have suffered on other creatures. Therefore, once they are caught, no. You better hope, I will never be caught by them. Why don't they take revenge on the undead that turned them into this way? Duan Lei asked with some shuddering. The reason is simple. Dong Huangtai said calmly. Because they have no way to retaliate. Turn them into such undead souls, and there is no flesh and blood on their bodies for them to cut. Should we kill them? That is exactly what all the undead souls hope for. When they become undead, they will know that living in their state is the greatest torture. It can be said that each of these undead are looking forward to dying, but because of the punishment of God, according to the rules of the earth, they cannot die. In the land of God's punishment, they are like a forgotten clan. They cannot commit suicide. Space cracks, various deadly storms, or electromagnetic waves will not appear around them, and they will even wander in the land of God's punishment. Those monsters will stay away from them. Perhaps, they can kill each other and help each other escape, but with their dark psychology, do you think they will have this kind of trust in each other? Even the only joy they have in living is to watch seeing other undead beings in the same pain as myself. They call themselves the Forgotten because they have been forgotten by this world. They want to die, but they can't die. How about living? For them, they don't even know whether they are alive or not. So, they can only wander around the land of God's punishment every day, catch a new life, cut off his flesh and blood, and turn him into the same person as themselves. This has almost become their only goal in life. Dong Huangtai raised his head and looked at Wang Feng and Duan Lei. Therefore, you must be careful about them. Because they are really desperate when fighting, because they have longed for death. An army that is not afraid of death is terrible, but, an army that longs for death will definitely even more terrifying. I know. There have been creatures similar to them on your planet, which were transformed by humans, but you must not compare them. Your former enemies are not as smart as them, and some even gave birth to sane high-level zombies. They are also afraid of death. But these forgotten ones, they won't. They are as smart as us, and they have no fear or pain, because the harm we can bring to them is nothing compared to what they have experienced. And the blood and flesh you splash when fighting, the screams when you are injured, and even the sound of their own bones breaking will make these forgotten ones excited and enter a state of frenzy. Honestly, they are definitely the most terrifying enemies in this world. After listening to Dong Huangtai's words, everyone around him was silent. After a long time, Wang Feng raised his head and looked at Lu Feng, Tang Haoshan, and others. Old Lu. Gather everyone, tell them about the situation of these forgotten people, let them know what kind of enemy we are about to face. Upon hearing Wang Feng's order, Lu Feng and others immediately turned and left, but Dong Huangtai's eyes lit up and he raised his head to look at Wang Feng. Originally, Dong Huangtai thought that after he told the horror of these undead people, the forgotten people, Wang Feng would change his mind and choose to avoid these terrible enemies as much as possible. Unexpectedly, after learning about the abilities of these undead, Wang Feng's choice was still to fight them, and looking at the expressions on Lu Feng's and others' faces, it seemed that they were not surprised by Wang Feng's decision. A slight smile appeared at the corner of Dong Huangtai's lips. It seemed that this Hope Expeditionary Force really gave him some expectations. Lu Feng and others quickly summoned the Hope Expeditionary Force. This did not take much time for the well-trained warriors. However, they did not have loudspeakers now. Therefore, those who had just heard Dong Huangtai dispersed to among the team. He briefly described to them what they knew about the Forgotten Ones so far. When they heard about the creation process of the Forsaken, the soldiers of the Hope Expedition couldn't help but get goosebumps, because Lu Feng and the others did not hide anything and directly relayed Dong Huangtai's original words to them. After hearing the horror of the Forgotten, these Hope warriors did not have any special reaction. For them, the unknown enemy is the most terrifying thing. Now that they know the existence of the Forgotten, then just call over. Anyway, just treat them as more powerful zombies. At least, these Hope Expeditionary Force soldiers who have experienced the apocalypse and fought face to face with zombies can be sure that they will never be frightened by the images of the Forgotten Ones. Seeing the expressions of these guys, Wang Feng and Duan Lei shook their heads slightly. They estimated that their work just now was in vain. These guys were not very interested in the information about the Forgotten People at all. Hope warriors have always believed that seeing is believing, and they never need to prepare for an enemy they have never seen, because you simply don't know the true strength of the enemy you are facing. Only after seeing the enemy and fighting with him can he determine how these enemies should be defeated. This is also the most valuable experience these warriors have gained in the end of the world, when all kinds of enemies emerge one after another. From the low-level zombies at the beginning to the insect army in the endless tower at the end, most of the enemies they encountered had never been seen before. Therefore, they could only slowly get familiar with themselves while fighting. Face this new enemy's attack patterns and look for their weaknesses. Over time, this has become the regular combat method of the Hope Expeditionary Force. Therefore, they do not particularly care about the enemy information they hear. Whether they are crazy or not, or whether they desire death, they will only be able to determine if they meet him. Besides, what about enemies who long for death? At worst, whatever you desire, I will give it to you directly. After seeing that everything was almost done, Wang Feng and Duan Lei finally looked at each other. Then Wang Feng stepped forward, looked at Dong Huangtai and said, "We are ready. Now, I need to know, in which direction is the large main base of the Forsaken?" Hearing Wang Feng's words, Dong Huangtai couldn't help but frown. "You are going to attack the main base of the Forsaken from the beginning?" "Of course not. However, since you said that is our ultimate goal, then we must go there too. There should be some small bases of theirs along the way, right? Just practice with those small bases first," Wang Feng said with a relaxed expression. "Okay. This direction." Dong Huangtai stood up, raised his hand and pointed to his 1 o'clock direction and said, "The main base of the Forsaken is over there, but it's far away, and there are about 4 or 5 of their small bases that need to be passed in the middle. You may even encounter monsters from the land of God's punishment. Is there any possibility of encountering a space crack?" Wang Feng asked. For the Hope Legion, things like space cracks that cannot be guarded against are their biggest threat. As for monsters and forgotten people, they are just enemies. For the Hope Expeditionary Army, no matter how powerful the enemy is, it is not impossible to defeat. Everyone is here. Let's go. Wang Feng waved his hand and was the first to rush towards the bottom of the hill. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 898. Because there are no fighter planes and they are not familiar with the environment, even if Dong Huangtai points out the direction, the progress of the Hope Expeditionary Force is still very slow. Now Wang Feng doesn't really trust Dong Huangtai. Although he said a lot of things in the land of divine punishment, before seeing it with his own eyes, those can only be used as a reference and cannot be used as their real battle. In accordance with. Therefore, it is now hoped that the expeditionary force will still adopt a defensive formation, and Wang Feng will also take Qiuji and Kai, Xiaowu, and others to wander around the team, always paying attention to the surrounding situation. Act as a sentinel. After walking for more than 3 hours, they finally made a new discovery. In Wang Feng's eyes, a group of monsters appeared in front of them. This group of monsters is a bit like a rhino, but it is larger than an elephant, and it also has a very thick tail. The head of a rhinoceros, the body of an elephant, and the tail of a crocodile make this monster look incomparable. Weird. But looking at the thick unicorn armor covering their bodies, the huge horns on their heads, and their huge bodies, Wang Feng knew that these monsters were not easy to mess with. Fortunately, because of the existence of Wang Feng's Sky Eye, these monsters have not discovered Wang Feng and the others so far. So Wang Feng directly sent a signal, telling the Hope Expeditionary Force to immediately stop advancing and hide. Let's go. Let's go up and test the strength of these monsters. Seeing that Wang Feng had made a discovery, Qiu Jian and others consciously gathered around Wang Feng. Wang Feng looked at them, and then said softly. He had no intention of going back and asking Dong Huangtai what kind of monster it was, because no matter what they were still their enemies, and they were still in the direction of their progress. A battle between the two sides was definitely unavoidable. Wang Feng and the others quietly approached these monsters and counted them carefully. The total number of these monsters is 18, some are large and some are small, but even the smallest one is at least as big as a horse. Fortunately, they have experienced the apocalypse and the endless tower, and are basically immune to such large creatures. They had even killed a mountain of beetles. What other animal could arouse their surprise? When Wang Feng and the others approached about 200 meters away from the monster group, the group of monsters discovered them. The moment they discovered them, the largest monster directly let out a hiss, and then all the monsters running towards them quickly. It seemed that they had broken into the territory of these monsters. Once these monsters started running, they really showed their power. There were only 18 monsters, but their momentum was quite huge. Their huge bodies made the earth tremble and they kept wailing. Looking at the speed of these monsters, Wang Feng couldn't help but secretly rejoice. Fortunately, they discovered these monsters in advance. Otherwise, if the target of their charge was the Hope Expeditionary Army, the hopeful Expeditionary Army would never be able to stop their rapid and fierce attack. The huge impact brought by the body shape. Now that it is just Wang Feng and the others, it is relatively easy, because they will not resist forcefully. This is the advantage of having a small number of people. If it is a large force, it will definitely be impossible to evade. Up! Be careful, everyone! Wang Feng roared loudly amidst the roar of the monsters galloping, and then rushed forward directly. As it charged, more than a dozen sharp arrows flew out from the longbow in his hand at the same time, targeting exactly those huge monsters. Oops! It's a rhinoceros. Hearing the rumbling sound of the earth trembling, Dong Huangtai couldn't help but change his face and shouted. These guys are huge and have unparalleled attack power. The most abnormal thing is their defense, which is difficult to break. Even the forgotten ones will not provoke them. Aren't those undead afraid of death? If you can't break through the defense, just let yourself be killed by them. Wouldn't that be a relief? Duan Lei's eyes flickered. Like Wang Feng, he didn't have much trust in Dong Huangtai, so after discovering the flaw in Dong Huangtai's words, he immediately raised it. As for Wang Feng and the others, Duan Lei is not worried. That team already represents the strongest combat force of the Hope Expeditionary Army. If something happens to them, it means that the Hope Expeditionary Army may have to throw all of them into this divine punishment this time. Land. Alas! I told you that the monsters in the land of God's punishment are not interested in the undead without any blood in them. Even if the undead take the initiative to attack, they will at most just run away, so they call themselves the Forgotten. Dong Huangtai heard Duan Lei's doubts about him, but he was not angry. Anyway, his purpose was to take these people out of this place of divine punishment. As for what they thought of him, Dong Huangtai didn't care at all. He just hopes that the guys exploring the path will not get into trouble because of their arrogance and unfamiliarity with the rhino-horned beasts, and the whole army will be annihilated. Ding ding ding. A series of dense metal collisions sounded. As expected by Wang Feng, the arrows he shot could not cause any harm to these rhino-horned beasts. Even if Wang Feng specifically picked their eyes when shooting arrows, not a single arrow worked. However, Wang Feng was not completely fruitless. These dozen arrows were originally used by him to test. Attack their eyes. Wang Feng shouted loudly, because when he discovered these rhino-horned beasts before, Wang Feng's heavenly eye did not find any weak spots on these guys. This was the first time Wang Feng encountered this situation, and he did not know that it was these rhinoceros-horned beasts. There is no weakness at all, or rather, the function of the sky eye is weakened or disabled here. But at least when he shot those arrows, Wang Feng saw that the eyelids of the rhino-horned beasts closed the moment the arrows came into contact with the eyes of these rhino-horned beasts. This was at least good news. Regardless of whether their eyes are really their weakness, at least Wang Feng and the others have a target. While shouting these words, Wang Feng had already rushed into the group of rhino-horned beasts and began to engage in hand-to-hand combat. Wang Feng did not do any other tests at all. He switched to Xian Yuan sword and pointed it directly into the eyes of the largest rhinoceros-horned beast. A sword. The rhinoceros beast charging at high speed did not make any evasive action, but just turned its head, and then hit the Xian Yuan sword. The sharp horn on its head was pointed directly at Wang Feng's Xian Yuan sword. Wang Feng narrowed his eyes slightly, but he did not dodge or dodge, as if he wanted to have a head-on confrontation with the largest rhino-horned beast. However, the rhino-horned beast soon experienced the cunning of humans. The moment Wang Feng's Xian Yuan sword was about to collide with the rhinoceros-horned beast's horn, the Xian Yuan sword in Wang Feng's hand suddenly disappeared. Then, Wang Feng spread his arms directly, put his left hand directly on the horn of the rhinoceros, and drew a fist in the air with his right hand. Xian Yuan's sword appeared in his right hand at this time. With the movement of his right hand, the tip of the sword directly plugged it into the rhino-horned beast's left eye. Although the rhinoceros beast didn't quite understand why this human weapon could run back and forth, it felt the danger from the Xian Yuan sword and quickly turned its head to try to avoid it. It's a pity that Wang Feng is now hanging on the horn on its head. No matter how it moves its head, it can't change the direction of Xian Yuan's sword. It can only close its eyes and see if the defense of its eyelids can block this human being. Weapons. Puff. The ending was quite disappointing for the rhino-horned beast. The Xian Yuan sword almost didn't stop at all and was inserted directly into the left eye of the rhinoceros-horned beast. A stream of blood mixed with black liquid spurted out directly, along with the rhinoceros-horned beast. That miserable howl. Ouch. After the attack was successful, Wang Feng did not leave. He was still holding the horn of the rhinoceros, but he curled up and used its head to cover his body. Because he saw that at this time, there were other rhino-horned beasts that suddenly changed their direction and tried to attack him. Fortunately, this rhino-horned beast should be the leader of this rhinoceros-horned beast group. It is the largest in size, and it was charging at the front just now. Even though it has been severely injured, it cannot stop itself under the strong momentum. His body is still rushing forward at a very fast speed. At this time, Qiu Jian and the others had already launched their own attacks. Number 7 and Xiao Wu honestly attacked the eyes of a rhino-horned beast, but Qiu Jian stabbed one directly with his sword and hit it head-on to the head of his rhinoceros. Qiu Jian wants to test whether the defenses of these rhinoceros beasts can withstand his destructive power. Seeing that the direction of the attack was on the top of his head, the rhino-horned beast in front of Qiu Jian didn't even turn his head and hit him directly. It seemed that they were quite confident in the defensive power of their skulls. At this time, the rhino horned beast attacked by Wang Feng finally fell to the ground. Although only a few seconds had passed, and the rhinoceros horned beast's vitality should be quite tenacious, under the full force of Xian Yuan's sword, it also fell to the ground, completely incapable of persisting. Of course, Wang Feng had also felt that the life fluctuation of this rhino horned beast had disappeared, so the moment it reached the bottom, Wang Feng flew into the air, followed closely by the two rhinoceros horned beasts, who had no time to dodge. He directly collided with the largest rhino horned beast. After Wang Feng flew up, he quickly glanced at the battlefield, and happened to see Qiu Jian holding a long sword covered with his own destructive power, stabbing a large rhinoceros horned beast head-on. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 899. Seeing Qiu Jian's actions, Wang Feng became nervous, because Qiu Jian was taking quite a risk. No one knew whether Qiu Jian's destructive attributes were really effective against this rhinoceros horned beast. If Qiu Jian's destructive power had no effect on the rhino horned beast, his long sword would definitely break under such a huge impact, and then Qiu Jian would directly collide with the rhinoceros horned beast. Even if Qiu Jian cannot be killed directly at this moment, the swarm of rhinoceros horned beasts that will follow will trample Qiu Jian into a pulp. After all, Qiu Jian cannot fly at all, and now he is in a swarm of rhinoceros horned beasts. Just imagine. But now that the distance between Wang Feng and Qiu Jian has widened, even if they want to rescue, they are powerless. However, the next scene immediately made Wang Feng breathe a sigh of relief. The moment Qiu Jian's long sword came into contact with the rhino horned beast, the hard skull that gave the rhinoceros horned beast incomparable confidence melted instantly like butter cut into by a red-hot knife. Then, Qiu Jian's long sword directly penetrated into the head of the rhino horned beast until it reached the hilt. Ouch! The rhino horned beast also let out an earth-shattering roar. Its huge head swung upwards, and the single horn at the front pointed toward Qiu Jian from bottom to top. Qiu Jian did not relax because his attack was effective. With his right hand, he directly pulled out the long sword that had penetrated the rhino horned beast's head. At the same time, he slapped the rhino horned beast's horn with his left hand. Taking advantage of the situation, he stood up and kicked the rhino horned beast's horn with both feet. His whole body turned sideways. One of Feng's rhinoceros beasts flew away. When Wang Feng saw Qiu Jian's long sword piercing the head of the rhino horned beast, he had already changed his target and looked back at the two rhinoceros horns that had collided with the rhino horned beast he had killed. Beast. These two rhino horned beasts were following closely behind the rhinoceros horned beast leader. When the rhinoceros horned beast leader was killed, they did not stop and directly collided with the rhinoceros horned beast that fell and flew forward. The body of the beast. Moreover, the horn on the head of the rhinoceros following it on the right actually penetrated the body of the dead rhinoceros. Although the rhino's defense was strong, under the huge impact, the horn was the beast's single horn still penetrated the body of the rhino horned beast leader by about a foot. Seeing this opportunity, of course Wang Feng would not give up. He quickly shot towards the rhino horned beast. At the same time, he raised the Xian Yuan sword high in his hand and thrust it into the eyes of the rhinoceros horned beast whose one horn was controlled. Go down. Since his horn was still in the body of the rhino horned beast leader, and the one he had just taken fell to the ground, the rhinoceros horned beast was completely powerless even if it saw Wang Feng attacking him. It shook its head desperately, trying to avoid Wang Feng's attack, but the huge body of the rhinoceros hanging on its horn was not something it could shake at all. Puff! Without any accident, the Xian Yuan sword passed directly through the eyes of the rhino horned beast and penetrated its head. After 2 or 3 seconds of struggle, the unlucky rhinoceros horned beast lost its life. After pulling out the Xianyuan sword, Wang Feng did not stop and continued to kill the next rhino horned beast. Since the Xianyuan sword could kill them through their eyes, this group of rhinoceros horned beasts was no longer able to Wang Feng constitute a threat. Killing them all is just a matter of time. Wang Feng and Qiu Jian have already achieved results, but Xiao Wu and number 7 over there seem to be helpless against such a thick-skinned behemoth. Xiao Wu's sharp claws had basically no effect on these rhino-horned beasts. Xiao Wu even attacked their eyes, but they were also blocked by their eyelids. Number 7 also tried to use the Devourer's unique attack method to attack these rhino-horned beasts, but the skin of the rhino-horned beasts was too thick, and number 7 was unable to absorb life force through their skin. At this time, seeing that Qiu Jian and Wang Feng had already achieved results, number 7 couldn't help but feel a little fierce. He raised his head and shouted at Xiao Wu. Contain. After fighting side by side with number 7 for so long, Xiao Wu and number 7 already had a certain tacit understanding. After hearing No 7's words, Xiao Wu immediately rushed forward and entangled a rhino-horned beast. Rhinoceros are huge in size, with unparalleled defense and attack power, but their flexibility is their weakness, especially their horn. Although it is their main weapon, it can also be regarded as their weakness. Xiao Wu jumped directly on the rhino-horned beast's head, putting one hand on the horn to stabilize his body, and with the other hand, he kept attacking the rhinoceros horned beast's eyes with his blade claws. Although Xiao Wu's blade claws could not break through the defense of the rhino horned beast's eyelids, it also made the rhinoceros horned beast dare not open its eyes at all, which caused this side of its body to become the center of its field of vision. Blind area. Number 7, on the other hand, took advantage of this opportunity to continuously attack the rhinoceros horned beast, trying to find out which part of it could absorb the rhinoceros horned beast's vitality. As long as the location is found, this rhino horned beast is basically dead. Number 7 rushed to the back of the rhino horned beast, and then grabbed the mane on its back with both feet. He turned his body backwards, came up with an upside-down golden hook, and attacked the rhinoceros horned beast's belly with both hands. This kind of difficult action can only be performed by number 7, because the devourer can change the shape of its body, and it is a piece of cake to turn its feet into hands. Number 7 wanted to try to absorb the vitality of the rhino from its belly, but he couldn't go down directly, so he could only use this method. However, when No 7's hand slapped the bottom of the rhino, he was still disappointed. The belly of the rhino was not its weakness. Although number 7 could sense some of the vitality in the rhino, he couldn't absorb it at all. The rhino found that there were still enemies on its body, so it swung its thick and long tail and swung it towards number 7, trying to drive number 7 away. However, when number 7 saw its tail, his eyes lit up, and then he still kept the upside-down posture, staring at the tail tightly. When the tail approached number 7 directly released his feet, fell down, and hugged the tail of the rhino with both hands. What number 7 thought was, the skin on the tail can't be so thick, right? So he wanted to try to absorb the vitality of the rhino horned beast here. Damn! As soon as he hugged it, number 7 cursed. He couldn't even absorb the tail. How could he deal with this rhino horned beast? At this time, after the rhino horned beast missed the attack, it felt that the guy it wanted to attack actually hugged its tail, so it swung its tail and whipped it to the other side of its body. When the tail of the rhino horned beast swung to the center of his body, its anus just appeared in front of number 7. No 7's eyes lit up immediately, and then he grabbed the tail of the rhino horned beast with both hands and rushed forward. Then one arm directly penetrated the vital point under the tail of the rhino horned beast. Number 7 is a devourer, not a human. There is no word disgusting in his dictionary. Moreover, the food of the devourer is pure vitality, and it does not need to excrete itself. Therefore, number 7 did not think that there was anything wrong with his actions. Not only was there nothing wrong, but number 7 finally felt that he had found the right place. The devourer needs to find a breakthrough in the body to absorb vitality, just like a mosquito sucking blood. Mosquitoes can only absorb blood on human skin. If you put it on your nails, it will have no way to stop it. For number 7, the rhino horn is a monster covered with nails all over its body, so he can't find a breakthrough at all. But now the part he attacked has no nails. So, while the rhino horn was blasted, the vitality in its body finally began to drain. The rhino horn, feeling that something was wrong, couldn't help but panic and began to run forward frantically. Moreover, the attack from behind made it forget for a moment that there was a Xiao on its head. When it opened its eyes out of fear, Xiao Wu seized the opportunity and stabbed his claws into its eyes fiercely. The rhinoceros beast that was injured at the same time became even more crazy and rushed forward violently. A rhinoceros beast that was blocking it was stabbed by its horn and howled. When Xiao Wu saw the opportunity, he jumped up directly from the body of this rhinoceros beast to the body of the rhinoceros beast that was severely injured by it, and then his claws followed the wound opened by its horn and grabbed it fiercely. The madness of the two rhinoceros beasts immediately disrupted the rhinoceros beast's originally somewhat chaotic attack formation. Rhinoceros beasts were constantly tripped to the ground by their own kind, and then immediately stepped on by other rhinoceros beasts. Zhou Jian and Wang Feng would certainly not miss this opportunity. Every rhinoceros beast that fell to the ground became their primary target of attack, and these rhinoceros beasts that fell had no ability to dodge at all. In addition, their defenses basically had no effect on the destructive power of Wang Feng's Xianyuan sword and Qiu sword. Therefore, the number of rhinoceros beasts began to decrease continuously. Dong Huangtai and Duan Lei, who were observing the battle here with telescopes, finally breathed a sigh of relief. Dong Huangtai even said in surprise, "They are so powerful? That's a rhinoceros beast, just 4 people can." Duan Lei frowned after hearing Dong Huangtai's words and turned his head to look over. There is a question. Doomsday Special Forces. Author, Huanjing Chengzhu. Chapter 900. Haha. I think, I should know what you want to ask me. Dong Huangtai looked at Duan Lei and said with a smile. Do you want to ask me, since I am the great prophet of the human race, and I have said that I have seen you in my dreams while sitting here drinking with you, why don't you know the strength of those 4 guys? Right. Duan Lei was stunned for a moment, then nodded. This is exactly what he wanted to ask. This is very simple, because... Dong Huangtai suddenly sighed softly. I remember I said the same thing just now. I was punished to enter this place of divine punishment because I leaked the secret. Although this is what I wanted to enter, I have lost the ability to predict. Looking at Duan Lei, Dong Huangtai said seriously. I know why you doubt me so much, but, I don't want to explain more. Everything we go through has a reason, and it is what we must face. At least here, I will not harm you, otherwise, as long as you don't show up, no matter how strong you are, how many people will be left? Don't worry. I will try my best to prevent you from losing a few people in this land of divine punishment. At least I hope that when we finally leave, 2/3 of you will still be alive. If you lose too much, it is very likely that you will not be able to pass the final endless road. Only by passing there can humans truly lift their curse. Endless road. Curse. Duan Lei heard 2 new terms. The endless road may be related to the endless tower, but what is that curse? Are humans a cursed race? However, Dong Huangtai began to show his true nature at this time. No matter how much Duan Lei asked, he insisted on refusing to tell. But at least Duan Lei's suspicion of Dong Huangtai has been reduced a lot. At this time, the battle on Wang Feng's side was coming to an end. They had killed 12 of the 18 rhino-horned beasts, and only 6 were left, who were still struggling with them. Speaking of which, This rhinoceros beast is quite bloody. Even after so many of its companions died, it still attacks Wang Feng and the others like crazy. However, their attack method is too simple, basically only the horn on their head, and now they are entangled with Wang Feng and the others, and can no longer exert the strong impact they had before. Let's go. Let's go up and try to. Seeing that Wang Feng and the others had mastered the rhythm of the battle, Lu Feng waved his hand and rushed forward. There was a good opportunity for them to experience these monsters, and of course they couldn't let it go. The Mars trio was the first to respond and rushed forward after Lu Feng. Tang Haoshan, Gui Wuivang, Lu Wanting, Huang Hua, Dai Guo, Lin Li and others also rushed forward one after another. Lin Li, the former Rat King, is now quite depressed because his abilities seem to have no effect after leaving Atlantis. When he was in the Endless Tower, he also thought about controlling some insect armies. After all, the intelligence of insects cannot be higher than that of animals, so they should be better controlled. But the result was far beyond his expectation. Not to mention those giant mantises, he couldn't control even the smallest insect. And without his own control creature, Lin Li's combat effectiveness is actually not high, even worse than those ordinary Hope Expeditionary Force soldiers. This is a bit like the summoners in online games in the past. Basically all the combat power lies in their summons. This time Lin Li also rushed out, wanting to see if he could control the creatures in the land of God's punishment. He doesn't want to think about those forgotten ones. They are intelligent creatures with similar intelligence to humans, so they are definitely useless. However, he can give these rhinoceros beasts a try. Leave these guys behind and let Lao Lu and the others practice. When Wang Feng noticed that Lu Feng and others were rushing over, he immediately shouted. At this time, there were only 5 rhino-horned beasts left, because one of them had been directly exploded to death by number 7. Seeing the way number 7 killed the rhino-horned beast, including Xiao Wu, who had turned into a zombie, they all felt their own backs tightening, and at the same time, they secretly mourned for the rhinoceros-horned beast that died in No. 7's hands. After finding out the weakness of the rhino-horned beasts, number 7 suddenly became active. 4 of the 13 rhino-horned beasts that died in his hands. However, it seemed that the life energy of the rhino-horned beasts was different from the outside world. The creatures are no different. This made Wang Feng feel a little strange. Didn't Dong Huangtai say that this was the only place where they could break through the 10th level and step into the 11th level? Could it be that he was talking about the Forgotten One? After Lu Feng and the others arrived, they immediately grouped themselves into groups and pulled the remaining 5 rhino-horned beasts aside. Without Wang Feng's reminder, they knew that they couldn't stay too far away from these big guys. Once they were pulled away, they would have the space for charging, so getting hit is no joke. Even now, once they are touched by their horns, it will definitely not be pleasant. Even the rhinoceros's strong body cannot block their own horns. One can imagine how sharp these horns are. After the core members of the Hope Expeditionary Force took over all the rhino-horned beasts, Wang Feng and others stepped aside and no longer participated in the battle. They only monitored the battlefield to prevent accidents. At this time, Lin Li was also standing outside a battle circle. This battle circle was composed of Huang Hua, Mars, and Dai Guo, who controlled the rhinoceros beast. Lin Li had already fought Huang Hua before. After greeting him, Huang Hua naturally went directly to Dai Guo, whom he was familiar with. After all, he used to be in the same legion. The Martian trio joined in because they heard that Lin Li wanted to control the rhino-horned beast and were curious. The curiosity of these 3 guys was no less than that of cats. Seeing Lin Li coming, Wang Feng couldn't help but was stunned, but he understood immediately, so he immediately looked at the rhino-horned beast surrounded by Martian and the others. If Lin Li's superpower could work on this rhinoceros-horned beast, for them, it is naturally a big help. Even though Wang Feng and the others looked like it was easy to kill these rhino-horned beasts, That was because Wang Feng, Qiu Jian, and number 7 were able to restrain them, so they were able to kill them. Otherwise, it would have been a big trouble. Just look at the battle between Lu Feng and the others and the rhino-horned beast. Although their weapons kept hitting the rhino-horned beast's body, they did not cause any harm to the rhinoceros-horned beast. Even if Lu Feng and Tang Haoshan were holding the meteorite iron weapons built by Apostle John, they still couldn't break through the rhino-horned beast's defense. Even if they attacked from the rhinoceros-horned beast's eyes, it would have no effect. Damn! Isn't there weak point in their eyes? Tang Haoshan cursed. You'd better ask number 7 about their weaknesses. Wang Feng said loudly on the side, his eyes still staring at the rhinoceros beast that Lin Li was about to control. Number 7. Where are their weaknesses? Lu Feng asked loudly. Under the tail. Number 7 said expressionlessly that he didn't know the name of that organ because he didn't have one himself, and Wang Feng and the others had never thought of giving number 7 a physiological hygiene class. Try it quickly. Lu Feng's eyes lit up. He didn't think it was a big deal. As long as he could kill the rhino-horned beast, it was fine. As for the position, which one was not a cut? For Lu Feng, he has no worries if he can kill his enemies. As a result, the rhino-horned beasts surrounded by these guys were in a miserable situation. Countless weapons were all pointed at the back of its body. However, even if these weapons penetrated its vital parts, they did not have the function of absorbing life force. It cannot cause fatal damage to them, but the pain will not be relieved at all. Especially the one surrounded by Lu Feng, Tang Haoshan, and Guiyu. The chrysanthemum behind it had been stabbed into a sunflower by them. It was spinning around in the middle and howling miserably, making Qiu Jian and Xiao Wu who were watching couldn't help but feeling creepy. The rhino-horned beasts surrounded by others were not much better than this one, especially as the wound continued to expand. The rhinoceros-horned beast's activities were also greatly affected. It was even harder to turn around next time. So, everyone simply left one person in front to restrain the rhino-horned beast to prevent it from suddenly escaping, while the rest circled around the rhinoceros-horned beast's butt. The scene actually looked a bit like the game of eagle catching chickens, except but the hen was replaced by a rhinoceros. Seeing this suddenly hilarious scene, Qiu Jian, Xiao Wu, and number 7 were dumbfounded. It is estimated that except for the guys from the Hope Expeditionary Force, no one else would have thought of such a weird tactic. The rhino-horned beast surrounded by the Martian trio was obviously the lucky one, because Lin Li wanted to conquer it, so its chrysanthemums were still in full bloom. Lin Li didn't notice the situation in other battle circles at all at this time. Even the constant wailing of the rhino-horned beasts was automatically ignored by him. Without his summons, he became the person with the lowest combat power among the Hope Expeditionary Force. Especially since he was still a core member, this was a compromise that Lin Li couldn't accept. In the Endless Tower, he has always been a protected character. 2 warriors even lost their lives trying to protect him. I am not a weakling. I don't want to be protected forever. Lin Li shouted in his heart. He glared at the rhino-horned beast, waved his hands forward, pointed at the rhinoceros-horned beast, and let out a loud shout. Go! Rhinoceros!